Hello and welcome back to the live broadcast, coming to you from the 2023 Sydney International Piano Competition. And another semi-finalist has joined me here for a little chat. That is Junyan Chen, excuse me. I've had so many names to deal with in the last few days. Congratulations on making it to the semi-finals.
Thank you so much.
How lovely is that?
Thank you. It feels surreal. It's very nice.
Yes. Do you sleep well before you play? You have such heavy programs, you know?
Actually, the first day, the preliminary, the round one, I didn't sleep much before that. But I think with that, I was a bit more anxious about, this is the first time I'm going to play on this stage. I was a bit more aware of the situation. But now I know I just, have a normal life and enjoy the moment and go on stage and play.
That's lovely. Yeah. Enjoy the moment in Australia. What was your first impression of Australia when you arrived? Do you know Australia already, have you?
This is the first time I'm here.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, welcome. Yes.
Thank you. I love it here. It's so spacious. Everyone is so friendly.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I know. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Terrific. Yeah. And then, of course, to make it not just through the first round, but then into the second round as well. But it's interesting to look at your first round. So there was Bach, Duthier, Carl Wein and Liszt. Quite a mixture in there, yeah? Tell us about putting that program together.
So me personally, I'm a very big fan of very contemporary music. And with Bach and Duthier, I think it's a very good contrast because in that Duthier piece, there's a lot of counter subject. There's a lot of different lines continuously at the same time. And I think with that and Bach together, it's a very diverse program for me to show the competition that this is who I am and this is something that excites me. And with Liszt and Carl Wein, because we have to play Australian piece, and he has been one of my favorite composers since I was like 8 years old, since the first time I listened to his music. Actually, one of his Piano Concerto No. 1 by Carl Wein, it is actually in my top 5 piano concerto list.
How fantastic is that?
I love that.
How did you discover Carl Wein?
Actually, my previous teacher, Junyan Chen, he used to based in Sydney.
I see.
He is a very close friend with Carl Wein.
Right.
And then he was like, okay, why don't you start to listen to some contemporary music? And I know this amazing composers and you're going to love his music. So then that was the first time I actually listened to his music. And then I played his No. 1 piano sonata. It was great. It was great. I do enjoy his music, yeah.
Did coming to Australia then and playing Carl Wein, did you make the connection between his music? Is there something Australian about his music, do you think?
Spacious and beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because those are the two words you actually said about Australia as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like you said, you're quite dedicated to contemporary repertoire. And of course, that's wonderful. There's a responsibility that a performer has in making sure that new pieces are performed and that we all get to hear new things, not just the standard repertoire. Of course, moving into the semi-finals, you've shown us that again. Sofia Gubaidulina, Bartók and Liszt. Okay. So Sofia is, of course, still alive today and a very, very, very special composer in many ways. Tell us about those 3 pieces and how they came to connect.
So at the beginning, when I was thinking about what should I put into my program as a 70 minutes concert, I was thinking what I would do normally in a performance. I was thinking, okay, normally I would put down some contemporary music to let the public, to let the audience know that this is I'm capable of, and I would love to show people new music by living composers. And then I treated this semi-final round as a performance, and I just think, well, Bartók studies, it's one of the most challenging pieces of music, and me personally, I love Bartók with a passion. I'm gonna do Bartók No. 2 piano concerto.
If you make it into the finals, exactly.
If I make it to the final. And Liszt, I always the beginning of my learning piano journey. I always loved this piece. It's massive.
It is
massive. Such a spiritual journey throughout all this different, very different harmony, and he keep on trying to reach the highest point, but he keeps on failing. It's like that kind of searching and crying for help, and it really connects with me, and I feel like myself when I'm playing it. So that's why I put it down together.
It's also very technically challenging, though, like anything from Liszt. I mean, how does one get over the technique to the interpretation in that way?
I think I'm privileged enough. When I was in my youth, younger, I was quite concentrating on building up my fingers and then actually build up this very good technique. And I know that there are a lot of pieces that it's incredibly difficult. But for me, I do feel like I have the privilege, and I'm lucky enough to be able to move my finger fast and strong.
And make sure that they stay connected with the heart at the same time. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course, moving into this next round as well, you start to play some chamber music. And this is an important role for pianists who have so many wonderful things to play as far as chamber music goes: piano quartets and quintets and trios and sonatas. And, you'll never run out in a lifetime.
Never.
What's your privilege, or what do you think of chamber music and your connection to it? Do you get to do a lot?
Yes. So me personally, I do think if a soloist, they can't play chamber music in a intimate and connected way with the other musicians, that doesn't mean they're a all-rounded good soloist. Because I don't know, with playing violin sonata with piano, cello, viola, or whatever, chamber music, chamber repertoire, if you don't know how to listen, then how do you listen to yourself? Music always change. It always change every time when we perform it, every time when we go on stage. It's a completely different new thing. And if you can't change yourself in that instant, then it's, I don't know, for me, I just think chamber music really plays a very big role. And I do play a lot of chamber music as well, and I enjoy it.
Yes, and it's the live aspect of it, isn't it? Yes, but also absolutely. Communicating with another musician without actually speaking to them. Coming together and working out how to see how you're both on the same path. Of course, that's very understandable. So, should you make it through to the finals, you want to play Beethoven and Bartók. You've mentioned already. How do these two fit together?
I think Beethoven 1, I really like this piece because, you know, the third movement, dun, 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 it sounds like Chinese New Year song, and I feel like home when I'm playing it. And then when I saw the piece in the prescribed repertoire, I said, well, I have to play that piece. I feel like I'm at home, and it's so joyful. It's so exciting. The second movement, such long and beautiful melody. I love the piece. And then with Bartók too, well, I really wanted to challenge myself. It was very challenging, the process of learning it, but you know, it's gonna be great if I have the chance to play the piece.
Indeed. Indeed. Of course, you're working with Joanna McGregor in London these days, and she was a bit of a groundbreaker herself. She's also a composer and conductor and does a lot of other work in that respect as well. I guess a real sort of, you know, figure for you to look up to in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, because in my life I had two teachers. One is William Chen and one is Joanna McGregor. Both of them, they're incredibly intelligent in a way, not just music, and also how to be a human being. And they know how to deal with things that it's in a different perspective rather than okay, they're my piano teacher, they're just teaching me how to play the piano, because it's always about how I live life. Music is about life, isn't it? So
it certainly is. In fact, you said when you were talking about this competition, you said you were interested in the unique voices and perspectives that you were going to experience and hear at this particular competition. It's an interesting way of approaching a competition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think for me, the last time I did a competition, it was like 6 years ago.
Oh, it's a long time. Yes.
I haven't been doing competitions, and for me, I'm not used to the way of thinking in what so-called competition way of playing piano, or there are certain musicians sometimes they say, oh, this is a competition, I have to be the first prize, I have to be blah, blah, blah. But I think for me, everyone here is an amazing musician, and we're all here for our different personality, different way, different approach to music. And I think that it's how I take on going to a competition. You meet people, you make friends. I already made a lot of friends with them. They're all very nice and friendly. So yeah, I think that's what I would take away from the competition. And you know, if I can win, it's going to change my life. So.
It's also, you're all coming together after working for decades on something, isn't it? Really, it's not just 1 or 2 weeks or preparation, even months.
Absolutely.
It's a dedication for a big chunk of your life. Yeah. Which is, of course, quite an amazing thing to do.
It is.
Of course, one of the new aspects of performing these days is performing for streaming audiences. But one of the lovely aspects of this is that all your friends and family and people can watch. Who's watching you as you bash your way through these various final performances?
My parents, they're watching it in China. And my very close friends, they're watching it in London as well. And for me, I feel very loved every time after a performance they send me messages saying, well done, I'm so proud of you. It's really lovely.
Yeah, so they're more or less almost here with you, yeah?
Yeah, I know.
It's great, very nice. A little bit of a philosophical question.
Yeah.
In the world we live in today,
yeah,
what do you think the role of a musician is? What's the unique aspect of being a musician today?
Of course, there are so many different perspectives for us to think, or we don't make a physical change to people's life. But I always believe that me as a musician on stage, letting people forget about their trouble in that 90 minutes is the best thing I can ever imagine. I think us being a musician is about how we feel. It is about the emotional side of who we are as a person. And myself, luckily enough, I am a musician, which people come and listen to me, and that make me feel like I can change their life in a way of I can make them experience the beautiful thing, the purest, the most raw feeling of human emotion. And I think that's what I think,
Yeah, indeed. Junyan Chen, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best of luck with it.
Thank you so much.
And you, of course, have been watching the special broadcast coming from the 2023 Sydney International Piano Competition.